there, my name is Samuel and welcome back to another video where today we shall be taking a look and comparing the two LEGO Avengers Endgame's compound battles. So on the left we have the 76131 Avengers Compound Battle, which was released back in 2019 in conjunction to the movie as initial release. This did include 699 pieces and this did retail £90, $100 and €100. Then on the right hand side we do have the 76192 Avengers Endgame Final Battle, which does include 527 pieces and weirdly enough did retail for £80, $70 and €90. So the price completely is all over the wall on this side. So starting off by taking a look at just their overall structures, you can see that the main thing that overlaps is this central building. It really does seem like that they have kind of just expanded on that and that's really what it is. But the first thing you can see straight away is that the door is actually the different direction, which is quite an interesting note. And the keypad, so it's like that's facing to the left and everything on this is facing to the right, which is just an interesting note I thought I'd put in there. So if we take a look at this part, this is actually the garage and this is the part that they didn't actually carry over, which honestly I'm happy they didn't, because this garage, it's an okay build but it really kind of just doesn't make sense. Like in an Avengers Compound you wouldn't really think it's like the most important build, like out of everything for them to do would be this. Like we didn't even get a proper lab. So quickly taking a look at this, you can see that we have the walls and everything. Sorry, I'm not really sure why it got a bit washed out there, but you can see that the garage, you can simply just pull out the car, which will compare that to the Ant-Man vehicle, but you can see that it's pretty simple. We also have the helipad part on the top, which, you know, it looks good, it looks okay, but it's more that the fact that why did this even need to be included in this set? Like it really doesn't make sense. You can see that we have all of these tools and then this really nice window element. So that is like the garage, which we don't really need to take more of a look at. Which you're then taking a look at the cannons on the left, you can see that we have the 2019 one, and on the right hand side you can see that we have the 2021, which straight off the bat you can see that the 2021 is definitely more advanced. You can see that we have on the clip, which sadly this is the same one from the helicarrier, but nevertheless it still looks okay. You can see that it has the big red button, which it doesn't look as good to me. I think this one here definitely looks much better than simply what you do on that one. You can press that in and then this one you press in that button. So yeah, it's definitely, I would say, a little bit easier to use this spring-loaded one, but the original I think is much better because you can just see how it looks and everything. So yeah, I think that one is definitely much better. Which you're then taking a look at the Avenger Compound buildings themselves, you can see that the main difference is straight off the bat is that we actually have an extra window pane here. Apart from that, the dimensions are basically the same. As you can see, we have like 4 studs here and that is equally made up at the ends there, which I have to admit, I think the wide aesthetic does look much nicer. It does feel the bigger, like I just guess the bigger scale of everything. And like I said, it's really weird the way that the doors are literally backwards, but I think that makes more sense because why would you have like on one of the most secure buildings with all like the most powerful people, why would you have like pin codes, you know? Could easily be hacked or anything, but then this I guess is a lot harder. So yeah, that I think straight off the bat it does look much nicer. You can see like the shaping and that is sort of the same with like the triangle and some dark blue and white. And looking at the base, you can see that this is done quite messy, where this is like still triangular a bit, but more, I don't know, just more flush, more neat, I would say. Quickly removing the light, you can see a better look. I definitely think that this one is much better, I want to say, because this, it just feels really squished. So it's not bad, nothing wrong with it. It does just feel a tad bit squished, though the A at the front there doesn't work. But then if we actually move on around to the side, this is where the 2019 rather, has actually got it better. This looks much better than this side, because in the movie there is a massive A at the front, and that really should have been there, or at the side of the building rather. Well, that technically I think that is actually the front more than anything. But then if you take a look down here, you can see there is actually a play feature, which you do get the Infinity Gauntlet, so it is pretty cool that you can get the Infinity Gauntlet out, but that really doesn't make sense in the context of the movie, because they can never get a hold of the Golden Gauntlet like Thanos' original one, so that really doesn't make sense. And then if we move on over to this side's play feature, which again, this left side does have a play feature, but it's more of a weird one. Well, it's not really even a play feature, I guess you can move that back and forth, but it's more of just like a destruction feature as if it's been blown up. So I definitely think that this, it's an awkward one really, like I keep saying, that we have both the A's at the side, but this one I think looks better because it's more accurate and destroy, where this one looks absolutely way too small. Which you're then taking a look at the table where you can see on the left and the right here. I think the right one definitely looks much neater in the size it's smaller, though I think the better thing about the 2019 one is it is way more accurate. The size is a lot bigger, though it looks a bit more messy and it's sticks over the edge than just a whole room. Like the shaping in general doesn't look that good. I definitely prefer like it's got a bad shape, but I think the fact that you can fit more figures is definitely a plus side. But that tile is really weird in the back. Where this one, you can see that we have like my character holograms, which look really cool, and like the little weapon rack. It just doesn't exactly feel like it's, I don't know, it just doesn't exactly fit as well as the other one, I would say. And then looking on the wall, you can see that that one also does have a sticker. Which then moving on down, you can see that we have the lab here, which I think the lab definitely looks better here on the right-hand side in the 2021 version, because it actually has some relevance. This, I don't believe we actually see at the compound more is little lake hut, but I guess that they would look at it because they want to like make sure, guess Bruce and maybe Scott would want to go over. Well, guess Scott wouldn't be much help, but you get my point. It sort of makes sense why it's here. And then they have the nano gauntlet, which Rocket really should have been in this set. Looking at it, I know he's technically with the hologram, but I mean he really should have been in it as he was helping this, and a Professor Hulk. Like the minifigures are definitely, I would say, well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but you can see this here, which I think is definitely nice. So the stickers are cool, and the gap here is quite a massive gap in the hallway, kind of plain. There's no stickers, which, yeah, it's definitely a shame what they've done. Then taking a look at like the laser section, this one is for Thanos this time round, which is interesting, where like I prefer the one here with the Infinity Gauntlet. I just think it looks much better. Like it makes more sense that they'd have it like the Nano Gauntlet. We know the room that they did, which really, that actually would have been a better feature. Like what if they'd made like this, like the room of that? It would have made more sense because they do put security. Again, Ronan, another figure, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, I definitely feel like it makes more sense on the left than the right. Like I don't get why Thanos would have a jowl. Like we know that they want to kill him, not arrest him, so that really doesn't make sense. So that's definitely, I would say, a point to the left. And then here you can quickly see that we have this helicopter, the Avengers Compound one. And yes, we don't have a Thanos copter, which is really good from the newer set or anything like that. So honestly, it's good that there's nothing else to compare with this one, because this, we don't need a helicopter in an Avengers set. What we do need is an Ant-Man's van. Honestly, this Luis's van is actually just, oh, it's incredible. Like I said in my review, so many people have been talking about this and praising it. It is definitely worth it. Like if you really like the van, it's so just worth trying to get it. Maybe, I guess on its own would be the best way, but if we quickly take a look at these, you can just see what one hands down wins. You can just see that this one, the color scheme, everything is so much better than this dark blue one. This honestly didn't need to happen. Like they could have knocked the set down easy by £10 removing that. Even, to be honest, even without the, well, yeah, it definitely would have to been a bit cheaper. But there you can see the vehicles. Well, it should look nice. You can see that we have the 2 seats, but definitely I think this one is by far the best one. So for the vehicles, let's give them a point for the vehicles for the newer version. Which then moving over to the minifigures that do compare between the sets, which only Thanos and Ant-Man, I do believe, and Iron Man, of course, are the only 3 figures that overlap. So taking a look at the Thanos minifigure, you can see that there is quite a difference. So first off, with this newer version, we have is a double-bladed sword, which looks pretty cool. And on the original one, don't ask why, but we have this like hammer, like I don't know what we're gonna call it, the Thanos Smasher, the Avenger Smasher, something like that. But taking a look at 2 of the Thanoses, you can see that there's definitely some notable differences. So taking a look at this one and that one, you can see that the biggest difference straight off the bat is that the fact that the new one has got way more body printing. Like honestly, it's absolutely incredible. And he has the molded head with that expression in that. I think it looks much better than this version. His head just didn't look perfectly right, and you can see that there was a bit of printing on that pad, but this one definitely does look better. But then the arms is really where it gets better. He has got printed arms, which I don't get that. This Thanos was almost perfect. Literally, all they had to do was just add the arm printing. So let's quickly switch over the arms and see. Which then taking a look at both of the Thanoses, honestly, look how awesome this looks. To me, I think it actually fits better like this, because this one has already got less detailing on the legs, so it makes sense that there would be nothing on the arm, or well, you'd think it makes sense. And this one, due to the fact that there's printing on the legs and on the body, that the arm print would kind of go with it. So yeah, I definitely think that it looked much better with the arm printing, and that's kind of the only complaint I have there with Thanos. Which then quickly taking a look at the 2 Iron Men Mark 80 something, or I think it's like 83, isn't it, or 85, somewhere around there. Yeah, these are literally the same minifigure, which is so disappointing. This version really should have had his left half all like burnt and just absolutely decimated, like he did when he did the gauntlet. So it's really disappointing. You can see that the only difference is that he has that base. but he actually does have an extra accessory, which I believe this is from Infinity War, though he's Nano Shield, which again, this minifigure is really awesome. Like, I like this minifigure, but the fact that they haven't really changed it, and if you had a look at the photo, I'll see if I can find an image of it, they did sort of show that, well, not completely show or confirm, but it looked like it would be like his arms would be the same as the mask, but the fact he didn't is really disappointing, and he doesn't have another expression. So there is the Iron Man mark, literally the same, which then you can see Ant-Man is the other minifigure that is between both of them, that comes in both. Honestly, I think that just looks really awesome, and these don't actually have any back printing, but yeah, I think they look really cool. The newer one has definitely got more fine printing on his legs, you can see that, and then again the head looks pretty cool. So yeah, this Ant-Man minifigure, honestly, I think is done really awesome. So yeah, those are the only minifigures, and I will quickly show a group shot of all the minifigures in the outro, but remember, I won't be comparing the others because there are no more to compare. So there we have it. I hope you did enjoy this comparison, and overall, I think that this one is the better set, due to the fact the figures aren't perfect, but they are miles better than this one. You get an Outrider, which looks okay, you get Nebula, which is awesome, though it's a shame that she's not like an ordinary one, because we haven't had like an Endgame Nebula yet, which hopefully we'll get one in Gun in the Galaxy 3. Then we've got Hulk, which isn't Professor Hulk, but the figures are just inaccurate as anything here, apart from Iron Man and Thanos is alright, I guess. But yeah, the minifigures definitely aren't better here. I would actually say the best one of this set is most likely the Ant-Man's Quantum. So yeah, that is very interesting. You can also see we have all their accessories. That is that set, and that is that one. But yeah, the numbering system, I know I'm trying to do a point system, but what I'm going to do for the next comparison, I've sort of got my format, how I want to do these now with like the split screen and all of that. I'm going to work on my point system, which that will be fully done for like the next comparison, so hope you don't mind. So thank you all for watching. If you do, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and remember to keep tuned to the channel because we've got some really awesome content coming, and I'll see you in the next video. See you there. Bye for now.